Welcome back. So today we are continue our conversation on Purview and Copilot. How can Purview protect my data? And today I want to talk about data lifecycle management. It's a really important topic in general, but it's even more important when we talk about Copilot interaction. A couple of things that we have to think about here is if you have old information sitting on your system and Copilot asks about project X, Y, and D, and the information that you have for project X, Y, and D is outdated. It's no longer relevant to the topic. Copilot will find the information and return that as an answer to the user because that's all the information Copilot can find. So it's really important as we start looking into Copilot integration is pay really close attention to our data lifecycle management. So what is data lifecycle management? Basically, it is our ability to retain the data that we need for as long as we need it and don't become hoarders, right? Delete the rest, delete the data that's not useful anymore. Because again, the last thing we wanted to happen is we got into a legal situation and all the files that should have been forgotten now are discoverable because we forgot to delete them. So let's take a look at data lifecycle management. It's really important when we're talking about Copilot as well. So today we are back in compliance.microsoft.com. We are going to go to data lifecycle management and we're going to talk about M365 data lifecycle management. We're going to view a couple of policies that we have here. Policies are what we can put on retainers. Think about your Exchange, think about your SharePoints, think about your OneDrives. So let's take a look at a policy for Exchange. We're going to open this policy up, see how this policy is being structured. It's a really simple process to create a policy. So I named the policy, want to skip this one. It's adaptive scope. Adaptive scope is something new. We're not going to get into much details there, but it's ability for us using Intra or Active Directory to find specific criteria and tailor our policy based on those criteria. For example, in our case here, we're going to select mechanics. So everybody that works in our organization that has the title mechanics, it could be salespeople, it could be the HR department, it could be any type of department. It could. There's a lot of fields that we can target and say for this specific people, this is the retention that they will fall under. So then we're gonna choose the location. In our case is the Exchange mailbox, and to actually set up the retention we have a few options here. In our case, we're going to set up the retention because we fall under regulation X, Y, and Z, and they said that we have to keep emails for 5 years and then delete them. So what we did here, we create a policy for all the mechanics that we're going to keep the data for 5 years from the date that was created, from the date that the receiver sent the email, and after that period of time, we're going to delete that data immediately. So the data will be gone after a period of 5 years. Now, why is really important for us to do that? Again, we don't want Copilot to return outdated information. We don't want information sitting in our systems that somebody could ask about old projects that are no longer relevant, and we return information that maybe are confidential because they're old files. We didn't have a chance to go in and apply a label to those yet. So we want to make sure that the files that we have on our systems are really the files that we need to keep and not extra data out there. So that's a little bit on policies. Now I do want to talk about the interaction with Copilot because that's important as well. Again, that's what we're talking about today. So we're going to create a new policy, and this is going to be the interaction. This is going to be, let's call it Copilot interaction. So this is the interaction that we have with Copilot. So how long we're going to keep that data for? It's really nice to put a description here for the sake of time we won't. But what I want to show you, I'm going to change this a little bit. This is going to be a static policy because I'm going to apply this to my entire org, everybody in my organization. And what I want to do here is, if we look at the options that we can apply the policy to, we have your Exchange, your SharePoint, OneDrive, Microsoft Teams, right? One thing that we can apply the retention for is Copilot interactions. Really critical, right? Because those questions and those response to interaction that the user have with Copilot and what Copilot returns, maybe, just maybe, we don't want to keep that information sit on the user mailboxes for more than it's necessary, right? So maybe we can say, okay, I'm going to keep all the interactions from Copilot for a period of, and I'm going to do a custom here, and I'm going to keep for a period of 6 months. I don't want to keep anything more than 6 months from the time that was created. Then I am going to delete it. So it's really important to not only think retention in the aspect of just how long am I going to keep the interaction from Copilot. This is how we do that, but also retention in general, right? How much old files we have on our systems that we should be cleaning those up. This is a really good time to do that. So we talk a little bit about policies, we talk a little bit about retention, we talk a little bit how to create a policy to keep the retention on Copilot's interaction. There's a lot more to cover on the retention, and we're gonna do a video on the retention later on. But hopefully this gets you started a little bit on not only your journey on retention, but also your journey on keeping the interaction from Copilot retained for a certain period of time and then delete it. Guys, thanks for coming. Hopefully you guys found this video helpful.